during the class time. No need to give any reply. So unmute your microphones and listen. So today is our second class. We are studying Engineering Physics 1. Subject code for Engineering Physics 1 UDPH C01. So this Engineering Physics 1 is for all non-DG batches. Engineering Physics 1 consisting of 5 units. So totally we are going to study 5 units. Unit number 1, lasers and fiber optics. Unit number 2, optics. Unit number 3, mechanics. Unit number 4, mechanics of solids. Unit number 5, wave mechanics. Totally, we are going to consider these 5 units for our first semester for Engineering Physics 1 UDPH N01. These are all the topics which we are going to study from unit number 1. Introduction, principles and working of laser, population inversion, pumping and various modes, Einstein coefficient A and B, different types of the lasers. From these different types of the lasers, we are going to consider 2 types of laser, solid state laser and gas laser. For solid state laser, we are going to have neodymium, yttrium, aluminum, garnet laser. In simple way, we call this NdOG laser. And for gas laser, we are going to consider CO2 laser. Then applications of laser and finally properties of laser. So up to this part, we are going to consider all the terms that belongs to laser. So up to this part, it comes under first part, laser. First unit, second part is optical fiber or fiber optics. Again, we have to consider introduction for fiber optic, then fiber optic principle, then fiber optic parameters, and finally its application. So these are all the topics we are going to study from unit number 1, lasers and fiber optics or optical fiber. Objective. So as I informed that we have considered the laser, we know where all the lasers are applicable. The laser are used in all the sectors, not only in application of engineering, but they are used in food processing, they are used in medicine, they are used in space satellites. So we are using this principal laser in all the areas. So the students can able to communicate after reading this unit. They can well exposed with the concept laser, and they can use these laser applications in their domain region also, in their future studies or in their job. So this is the objective for today's class. We are going to consider the principles of the laser. We are going to apply this laser principle in our domain areas. So this is the mind map for the first part, laser. We can able to see the introduction here, then working principle of laser, then characteristics of laser, then Einstein coefficients, then types of laser, NdOG laser and CO2 laser, finally the applications of laser. So these are all the topics we have to learn from first part of our unit number 1, laser. The term laser is defined as light is amplified by the stimulated emission of radiation. Light is amplified by the stimulated emission of radiation is the principle for the laser. We know the acronym for the laser. L stands for light, A stands for amplification, S stands for stimulation, E stands for emission, and R stands for radiation. So the light is amplified by the stimulated emission of radiation is the laser. So let's start our today's class with characteristics of laser. Basically, there are 4 important characteristics. There are 4 important characteristics which define the working principle of laser. The 4 important characteristics are namely directionality, intensity, monochromatic, and coherence. So these 4 parameters are important parameters in the process of laser action. So the basic characteristics of laser, they will ask the question in your examination. Write down the basic characteristics of laser. So you have to write the basic characteristics of laser are 4 types. They are highly directionality, they are highly intensity, highly monochromatic, and highly coherence. So these 4 are the important characteristics of laser action. Let's see one by one. The first characteristics is highly directionality. So usually what we will do to study the laser action, we compare these laser mechanism with the ordinary light. So I have taken the comparison here between the ordinary light and laser. See, on the left hand side you can able to see the ordinary light. We are using a torch light. On the right hand side we have taken a laser pointer. The first characteristics is highly directionality. So what is this highly directionality? The directionality is nothing but spreading of the light. See, this is the source point. So here also we are having the source end point. So from this point the light emission will be takes place. Similarly, on the left hand side for ordinary light, here we are having that source point, here we are having that source point, here we are having that source point. So from this source point the light exit out. We can see the variation. Why the laser is called as the highly directionality? Because here from the left hand side for the ordinary light we can see the angular spread. So the angular spread is very large. The angular spread is nothing but this circle. The angular spread is large. The angular spread is large. And also we can see the difference that here the intensity, that is the brightness, is also becoming diminished. Here we are having somewhat bright. Here it seems to be a less, and here it seems to be less. So when the distance is increased, here for example, we are having only 1 meter, 1 meter distance. When light falls on the screen from 1 meter distance, then we can able to see the light intensity is glowing bright. Here we extended the distance. It extended up to 4 meter, for example, 4 meter. We can see the intensity variation. Here it's brighter, but here it's becoming less. Intensity reducing here. On further increasing the distance, I have increased the distance on further. For example, I have increased up to 10 meter. So when the distance is increased up to 10 meter, for 10 meter distance, we can able to see the intensity, how much is diminishes, how much is reduced. So for the ordinary light, the intensity is only based on the displacement. That is the distance. When the distance is less, I have placed the distance as a 2 meter. When the distance I have increased more for 4 meter, and also I have increased more to 10 meter, we can able to see the variation. For a 2 meter, the intensity is more, brightness is there more. For a 4 meter, the brightness is somewhat less. For a 10 meter, the brightness is comparatively very less. So on the right hand side, we are having the laser point. So for the laser radiation, we can see that the intensity of the radiation will not diminishes. For a 2 meter, it will be the same intensity. For a 4 meter, it will be the same intensity. For a 10 meter, it will be the same intensity. So these the important characteristics of the laser. That's what we are giving more important to the laser. So nowadays we are using this laser source for to target the distance object in military purpose, in a navy purpose, to destroy the distant object, to destroy the opposite vessel weapons. They are using the laser light for to focus on it because of its directionality. So the target will not be missed out by using the laser radiation. So these be the first characteristics. So I will explain once again. We are discussing about the characteristics of laser. Basically, there are 4 characteristics of laser. First one, directionality. Second one, intensity. Third one, monochromatic. Fourth one, coherence. We started our talk with highly directionality. To explain these characteristics, we have taken ordinary light and also laser source. We comparing these two. First, we started with the ordinary light. So here we say that the angular spread is very large for the ordinary light. Here in the laser, the angular spread is not more. It's even. See, the angular spread is even throughout the area, throughout the targeted line. The angular spread will not be changed. But for the ordinary torchlight, based on the distance, it will change. When the distance is less, brightness is more. When distance is increased, then the brightness will completely reduce. So these be the first characteristics. Highly directionality. If someone has unmuted their mic, please mute. I am receiving some sort of noise here. The second characteristics is highly monochromatic. for these highly monochromatic, again we started our comparison with the ordinary light, LED light, and with the laser pointer. See, we can see that for the ordinary tube light, the direction is in all the sides. The angular spread is in all the sides. So that's why we mentioned the parameter all direction, non-monochromatic, non-coherent. So the radiation which emit from these ordinary light or ordinary tube bulb will falls on all the direction. When the radiation falls on all the direction, then it will not be obey or it will not be behave as monochromatic. That's why it's called as non-monochromatic. If it's not a monochromatic, then it will not be behave as a coherent also. So that's why the angular spread is in all the direction, non-monochromatic, similarly non-coherent. But when we compare with the LED light, we can see that the light will spread in all the direction. Light emitting diode. The light will spread in all the directions. We can see that all the directions the light will be spread out. That's why we have mentioned in all direction. But they spread in all direction in same pace. That's why it's monochromatic and it's not coherent. So our condition, it should be the highly monochromatic, it should be highly directionality, and it should be highly coherent. Then only it will be act as a laser. Here it spreads in all direction, not directionality, not monochromatic, not coherent. We're not considering this one. For LED, spread in all direction, but it's monochromatic, but not coherent. That's why we are not considering this also. For a laser pointer, the important specification, it spreads in a particular direction, highly directionality, monochromatic, and coherent. So as I mentioned here, ordinary light, the spread is throughout the region. For laser, it's passed on the particular target. So here also, we are just saying that the second characteristics for highly monochromatic, we are having highly directionality, highly monochromatic, and highly coherent. So this is explained with comparison with the ordinary light bulb and with LED diode. The third parameter is highly intensity. See why we are calling this as a highly intensity. I have taken a small example here. So nowadays we are using laser treatment. The laser treatment is used in all the medical side. For your facial therapy, we are using laser. For operation purpose, we are using laser. For a diagnosis, we are using laser. So the main purpose of considering this laser radiation is due to its highly intensity. This is the main thing. See, I have taken a chart, that is we are shown a graph. So here I have just compare the laser with the ordinary light. We can see that the ordinary light intensity, see how much it spreads. The gap is nothing but a spread. But for the laser, I have taken an organ laser. We can't able to see that spread. So it is a highly directionality. So that's why we are using these laser source in many of our applications. I have shown a medical application here for healing. We are using a laser source. So these will be the last parameter for characteristics, highly directionality. So from the figure itself, we can see the variations. Again, comparison between the ordinary and the laser source. We can see that in ordinary light, incoherent, see the variations, and see the coherent, see the variation. Here we are having a particular wavelength. Here we are not having a particular wavelength. This is a difference. In ordinary light, we are having a various wavelength variation, but for the laser, we are having only a particular wavelength region. That's why we are seeing that colors, VIBGYOR colors. We are using red laser pointer. We are using green laser pointer. We are using white laser pointer. So there are many colors is there in the laser pointers. So the particular wavelength we can get out. The particular light we can make it as an exit. So that's it's called as a coherent. So here the highly directionality is nothing but, see, it's explained with respect to this wavelength structure. For ordinary we are having a different wavelength. Wavelength is nothing but, here we can able to see the different colors. Here we are having all the VIBGYOR colors. That VIBGYOR colors is bypassed with some filter. We are getting a single color. So this is a single color only. It's our consideration, that is laser. Fast light, laser. Here a multiple radiation. Here we are having only a single radiation. So these are all the characteristics of the laser. 4 points: directionality, intensity, monochromatic, coherence. I will never explain anything, but please view the slides. See, make a note. I will ask a question, and at the end of the session, I will just randomly I ask some students to say what is directionality, say what is intensity, say what is monochromatic, and say what is coherence. So you have to be ready for to answer the question. Actually, this one is in a coherent. I just forgot to change the name. It's coherence actually. So this is the comparison chart between the ordinary light and the laser beam. Because we are studying these characteristics only by comparing with the ordinary light. So here I have pointed 6 points with example. The first point, in ordinary light, the angular spread is more. This is the first point. The angular spread is more. Here the angular spread is less. They are not directional. They are not directional, but they are highly directional. Highly directional. It is less intense. It is highly intense. Less intense because when we increase the distance, automatically the intense will decrease. It will less intense, it will more intense. Have less intense, have more intense. It is not a coherent beam and is not in phase. For laser, it is a coherent beam and is in phase. We can compare this one. See, it is not a coherent and also it is not in phase. We can see the overlap. Here the bands are arranged in irregular fashion. One is above the another. So it says that is not in phase. But for the laser, we can able to see the separation also here. It is highly ordered. It's called as it is highly in phase. The radiation are polychromatic. The radiation are monochromatic. Poly means more. Mono means only a single. Poly, we can able to see the number of colors. This is the polychromatic. Mono means here we are having only one color, that is a green color. So this will be the monochromatic. Poly, mono. Example, for ordinary light, we can consider our incandescent, natural incandescent lamp, that is sunlight. We are using a mercury vapor lamp, sodium vapor lamp in our laboratories, school laboratories. We all seen these lights. Mercury vapor lamp, it will be in white color. Sodium vapor lamp, it will be in yellow color. So we have seen these lamps in school laboratories. So we can take mercury or a sodium vapor lamp, and also we can take natural sunlight as a best example for ordinary light. For a laser beam example, we can consider solid state laser, we can consider liquid laser, we can consider dye laser, that is semiconductor laser, we can consider molecular gas laser. So here I have taken the gas laser. Basically we are having 5 different types of lasers, but I have taken only one specification, that too gas laser, helium neon or CO2 gas laser. So these are all the comparison for the characteristics of the laser. So I will ask you any one to say any one characteristics of laser. So get ready and just be prepared for it. Angular spread is more, angular spread is less. Not directional, highly directional. Less intense, high intense. Not coherent, highly coherent. Not in phase, highly phase. Polychromatic, monochromatic. Sunlight example, mercury vapor lamp example. For laser, helium neon and CO2 are the example. So let's start our principle of laser. So before going to this principle of laser, I want to ask something to some student. Muthurajan, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Is it audible for you?
Yes, sir. It is audible, sir.
Yeah. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you
The
able
screen is
to?
visible, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Can you able to just learn what I am saying here? Can you able to understand?
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir.
Okay. Okay. Then can you define what is laser?
Laser is also defined as a light amplified and simulated emission of radiation, sir.
Very good. Very good. Good. Mute your microphone.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Rohit. Yes, Rohit. Yes, Rohit. Are you here? I need the reply immediately. So he is not here. He went somewhere. He is not listening the class. Akhtar Hussain. Zaik Muhammad Akhtar Hussain.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you say the characteristics of laser? How many types of the laser are there? Sorry, how many types are there in the characteristics?
Six types, sir. With
What
example.
are the 6 types?
So, can I differentiate?
Differentiate.
In ordinary light, the light is angular spread is more, and in laser beam, the angular spread is less. Can you hear, sir?
Yeah. Tell me.
In ordinary light, the light is not directional, and in laser beam, it is highly directional. And in ordinary light, it is less intense. In laser beams, it is highly intense. In ordinary light, it is coherent. It is not coherent beam, and in laser beam, it is coherent beam. In
Okay,
ordinary light,
you mute your microphone.
okay, sir.
Dhoni player. Dhoni player, are you there? I think there are some name. Mohammad Hassan.
Hello.
Mohammad Hassan.
So,
Who is answering? Mohammad Hassan. Are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mohammad Hassan. What are the characteristics of laser?
Sir, I have joined just now, sir. I have that problem, sir.
Oh, just now. Okay.
Sir, very sorry, sir. I'm
can
very
I tell
sorry,
you
sir.
the answer, sir?
Who is your name?
Ishwar, sir. Ishwar.
Yeah,
Ishwar.
tell me, Ishwar.
In ordinary light, they are angular spreading more.
Okay, then.
In laser beam, the angular spread is less.
Okay.
It is less intensive. It is
Okay.
highly intensive.
Okay.
It is not a coherent beam, and it is not in phase.
Okay.
It is a coherent beam, and it is phase.
Okay.
Radiation are polychromatics.
Okay.
The radiation are monochromatic.
Okay, Ishwar. Okay, you mute your microphone.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, very good, boys. You are doing good. So happy to see this. So now we start the second content. The second content is the principle of laser. See, the principle of laser is very easy to represent. Sometimes they will ask the question, write the principle of laser. So what we'll do, the most of the students, they will hesitate to write this term. It is very easy. From the name itself, it is mentioned. See, we know the acronym for laser: light, amplification, stimulation, emission, radiation. So here, this stimulation, emission is the principle of laser action. This stimulated emission is the principle of laser action. See that term here. Light is amplified. We are making the light to be amplified. How we are making the light to be amplified? Amplification is nothing but the changes. We are changing the light process. We are passing one radiation as an input. When it strikes the medium, then it will be converted into the another one medium. That's it's called as amplification. Amplification means conversion. The light is converted. The light is amplified by stimulated emission. This stimulated emission is the principle for laser action. You should not forget this word. Stimulated emission is the principle for laser action. So that only we are going to see how this stimulated emission is going to be takes place. What is the working mechanism for this stimulated emission? So this our next consideration. Our topic is principle of laser. The principle of laser is stimulated emission. You no need to write all the things here. In single word, you can say that the principle of laser is the stimulated emission. So how this stimulated emission takes place? For to occur this stimulated emission, what the mechanism that we have to study. You can able to see here we are having three different structure. Here we are having one structure. It mentioned as the absorption. Here we are having a second structure. It mentioned as spontaneous emission. Here we are having third structure. It mentioned as stimulated emission. You can able to see the variation here. You can able to see the position of the atom. The position of the atom is mentioned here in the orange color. This orange color is the position of the atom. Initially, the atom is in the ground level. Finally, the atom is in the higher level. So what we are doing? We are subjecting the energy. We are subjecting the energy. The energy is applied to this atom which present in the ground state. This ground state atom gains the energy, acquires the energy, accumulate the energy, gather the energy. After gathering the maximum amount of energy, the ground state particle goes to the higher state. Goes to the higher state. This process is called absorption. This process is called absorption. So if someone asks you, sometimes I maybe ask you, now also I can ask you, defined absorption. So you have to say that it is defined as the atom in the ground state. We have to first consider the initial state. The atom in the ground state gain the energy. Gain the energy. I will explain in detail in later. The atom in the ground state gain the energy. After gaining the energy, it will goes to the higher state. It will goes to the higher state. The process involved in this mechanism is called rate of absorption. Rate of absorption. So this is the absorption. Atom in the ground state gain energy and goes to the higher state. That's all. In simple way. Atom in the ground state gains the energy and then it will goes to the higher state. So this is the first stage. Once the first stage is over, then we can able to see the presence of the atom is in the higher state. Now the atom is reaches the higher state. It elevated to the higher state. Now depends on the lifetime of the atom. So each and every atom has its own lifetime. Each and every element has its own lifetime. What happens? Based on the lifetime, the atom will not stay permanently in the higher state. It will jump to the ground state. If the atom in the higher state directly jump to the ground state, it's called spontaneous emission. It's called spontaneous emission. See, our principle is the stimulated emission. But here, the emission is the spontaneous emission. The spontaneous emission means atom in the higher state jump to the ground state without any additional energy. Without any additional energy. What is the additional energy? Additional energy is nothing but, for the third case we have mentioned here, we can able to see this. But here we never drawn that line. We never drawn that wave format. So any wave format in the higher energy state, near to the higher energy state, then it will be considered as the spontaneous emission. And the last one is our principle, stimulated emission. We have to see the location of the atom. The atom is located in the higher state. When the atom from the higher state jump to the ground state with external triggering, with additional energy, with inducement, then the process, it's called stimulated emission. So here in this stimulated emission only the laser action will be takes place. The laser action will be takes place. So here no laser action. Absorption, no laser action because the atom in the ground state. Here also no laser action because the atom directly jumped to the ground state without any inducement. But here in the stimulated emission, the laser action will be takes place. I will give one better example for this. Consider a person who is standing in the ground floor. With the help of the elevator, with the help of a lift, he is going to the top floor. He is going to the terrace. See that it's considered as an absorption. When the person reaches the top of the building, when he jump to the ground without wearing parachute, without holding a parachute, when the person jump to the ground directly, that considered as the spontaneous emission. Suppose if the same person holding with the parachute, that parachute is nothing but an external energy. The parachute is nothing but external triggering, external inducement, additional energy. So when he jump with the parachute from the higher state to the ground state, we know what will happen. He will safely land in the ground state. That a safe landing is nothing but, here we have to consider as the rate of the stimulated emission. This rate of the stimulated emission creates the laser action. Creates the laser action. So this we are going to see in detail. One by one we are going to see this working principle. Let's start with rate of absorption. See, I no need to say anything. From this figure, you can able to cope up what is happening there. See, I have just skipped this step. I have skipped this step because our principle is rate of stimulated emission. So I have started with the spontaneous and the stimulated. But in your notes, study material, you can able to see the absorption process also. See, the atom is now in the higher state. Atom jump from higher state to ground state without any energy. That's why I said that a person jump from the top of the building to the ground level without wearing a parachute. Then automatically he will collapse. So no laser action will be takes place here. This line is the ground state. I have taken as a E1 level, energy 1 level, ground level. So this line considered as higher state, I have taken as a E2 level. The atom now is in the higher level. When the atom from the higher level, when it jumps to the ground level, so there is no laser action will be takes place because atom jump without any additional energy. So the atom without any additional energy, when it jump from its higher state to the ground state, the emission is called as spontaneous emission. Under spontaneous emission, no laser action will be takes place. So actually I have just forgot to change this one. It's the stimulated emission. Sorry. See here, now the atom is in the higher state. When the atom in the higher state jump to the ground state, atom the higher state jump to the ground state with additional energy. The atom in the higher state jump to the ground state energy, then the laser action will takes place. The laser action will place. So the laser action takes place due to the stimulated emission of radiation. You should not forget this word, stimulated emission. So the stimulated emission is the principle of laser action. So this is the second process. So I have just taken the laser action diagram. So what I have mentioned so far, that I have cumulated at a single diagram. I have made it as a single diagram. See, this line is the ground level. This line is the higher level. Initially, the atoms are all in the ground level. When we apply the external energy, the atoms in the ground level gains the energy and they will goes to the higher state. When the atom in the higher state jump to the ground state, so the ground state here actually we have taken as a metastable state. So this metastable state is the intermediate state. It called as an intermediate state. To explain the concept, we have distance here, but in reality, the distance is in microns. So the metastable state is almost the higher state. The metastable state is nothing but a higher state. So here to explain the concept, to explain the laser action, to show what is a stimulated emission, in all the books, the authors, they will just make a gap because to show the changes, what is happening in the mechanism. But in reality, the metastable state is not such much a huge gap, but it's very, very less, almost equal to the higher state. So here, the atom in the ground state gains the energy, then it goes to the excited state. In the excited state, the atom depends on its lifetime, it will jump to the metastable state. So I have mentioned here the transition state. I have mentioned here the decay. So this transition state is nothing but I have just defined as a E2 to E3. That is, this level is E1, the ground level is E1, the higher level is E2, the metastable state is E3. If the atom from the E2 level jump to the E3 level, when it's jump, if there is no action, then this is called as the spontaneous emission. See, now the atoms are in the metastable state. For example, when the atoms from the metastable state, that is from E3 level, when it jumps to the ground state, that is to E1 level. So when the atom from the E3 level jumps to the E1 level, a laser action is taking place. So when the laser action is taking place, then we have to know that the atom in the metastable state gains the additional inducement. Gains the additional inducement. So that's why the laser action will be takes place. It should be highly directionality. It should be highly monochromatic. It should be highly coherent, and it should be highly intensity. So for this, I have taken the original laser pointer image. Here we can able to see the emission of the green light, green radiation. 5461 Armstrong unit, or 5461 into 10 power minus 10 meter. So the wavelength is emitted by these mechanism. So this is just an action diagram for the laser action. What we are getting as an output, that output is takes place with respect to these stages: rate of spontaneous absorption, then a rate of stimulated emission, spontaneous emission, and then from the rate of stimulated emission. So spontaneous means ground state to the higher state. Spontaneous absorption means ground state to the higher state by gaining the input applied energy. Input applied energy. When the atom in the higher state jumps to the ground state without energy, it's called spontaneous. When the atom in the higher state jump to the ground state with additional energy, this additional energy is nothing but internal energy, not the external energy, not this one. Internal energy, the energy which was just circulated, the energy which was created internally due to this mechanism. That energy is considered as external triggering energy, additional energy. So when the additional energy gained by this higher state particle, then the laser action will be takes place. So this is the principle of laser. Yeah, boys, I wish to stop up to this. If you have any queries, you can raise your queries now. Otherwise, we can wind up.
Sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Yama, Anraj.
Sir.
Sri Chandan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir,
Tell me.
where this external, sir, from where this external energy comes?
Where this external energy
Supplied.
circulate? Very good question. You are asking for the stimulated emission. So we are
Yes,
saying
sir.
that in the stimulated emission, after gaining the external energy, the atom from the higher state jump to the ground state.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, here all the atoms are nothing but an electrons. So the electrons are moving inside the medium freely. Let's imagine that the electrons are moving inside the medium freely. So when two electrons collides with each other, then automatically what happens? The energy exchange will take place. So like the way the internal energy will takes place. Have you heard about the word avalanche mechanism? Avalanche mechanism. The avalanche mechanism means, for example, if you consider one wave motion, when there is a single wave motion collide with the atom, it will develop into two wave motion. When there is a two wave motion again collide with the atom, then it will develop as a four wave motion. So what happened? The internally the wave motion will tends to increases. That internal increasing wave motion is nothing but a spontaneous energy. Spontaneous energy. So when this spontaneous energy reaches the maximum, then they will exit out as the stimulated energy. That only acts as an external energy. So we are discussing these in a detail also in future classes. Is it clear, ma?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, boys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
sir.
much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
one more thing. I have to say one more thing. Please be attentive. Don't just leave the meeting. I think two of them will leave. Tomorrow I will share you the Google Sheet. So before 5 to 10 minutes, I will share you the Google Sheet, Google form. So it will be in the simple way only. Just you have to write the relevant answer for it. For example, I will ask you a question, define laser. You have to write what is laser. Second, I will ask you write the acronym for laser. You have to write the acronym for laser. I will ask what are the characteristics of laser. So you have to write the 4 points: directionality, monochromatic, intensity, coherent. I will ask what is the principle of laser. You have to mention stimulated emission is the principle of laser action. I will ask what is metastable state. The metastable state is the intermediate state. We can able to see that level where it acts. It takes place in between the ground state and the higher state. This is a metastable state. It takes place in between the higher state and the ground state. So like this, I will ask you some simple questions which are highly relevant to your subject. That will be very useful for you for your just a presentation as well as for your preparation. So with this, I will conclude my today's talk. Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.